Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. Today we are going to start paper 1-1 of 5070 chemistry, October, November 2022. Okay, let's start with question number 1. Which row shows the most appropriate apparatus of the measurement given? Okay. So 25 centimeter cube of solution, measuring cylinder. Yes, this can be 32.7 centimeter cube solution. Pipette. Pipette doesn't, record like this. So B goes wrong. 75 centimeter cube of a gas syringe. Okay. But gas syringes are almost 10 centimeter cube, 20 centimeter cube, 25 centimeter cube. So C goes wrong as well. 80 centimeter cube of a solution, burette. We know burette has only 50 centimeter cube capacity. So D goes wrong as well. So A is the correct answer. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, now question number 2. A liquid X is distilled from a mixture of apparatus shown. Okay. During the distillation, thermometer reads 157 to 160 degrees Celsius. What information about liquid X is correct? No, because measuring cylinder, are of 10 centimeter cube, 20 centimeter cube, 25 centimeter cube, 30 centimeter cube, 35 centimeter cube. So there are multiple ranges of measuring cylinders, okay? Okay, Zainab? That there are multiple ranges of us measuring cylinder from 10 till 100 centimeter cube or even bigger than that. We have a 10, 20, 25, 30 centimeter cube capacity, different, you know, uh, measuring cylinders. Walaikum assalam, Khatija. Okay, liquid X may or may not be miscible or mixed with each other. No. Walaikum assalam, Mustafa. No, it cannot be an answer. Because if you see, we observe the variation in the boiling point, it shows impurity, that is impure. X is a mixture that can be separated by distillation. No. X must contain two liquids with a boiling point 157 to and 160. Yeah, that can be the answer. X must have obtained by the fractional distillation of petroleum or a crude oil. No, there is nothing, no such information that it is always obtained from the crude oil. So D goes wrong as well. So C is the correct answer. Okay. Is this understandable to all of you? Now, question number 3. An aqueous solution contains a salt Y. Addition of an aqueous solution X results in a precipitate being formed that redissolves when X is more added. So it means that this aqueous solution X can be aqueous ammonia or, oh sorry, aqueous sodium hydroxide or aqueous ammonia, because the precipitates are being found on adding that and then they dissolves. What could solution X and Y be? Okay, so see, as we have decided X is aqueous ammonia or an ammonia, aqueous ammonia or sodium hydroxide, so A and B goes wrong. These two are correct. Okay, with copper we get the blue precipitate and those blue precipitate remains insoluble. So yes, very good, Khatija. C goes wrong as well. And we are left with option D. So D is the correct one. Now, question number 4. Which gas diffuses fastest at the same pressure? Okay. Obviously, the gases with the, higher temperature would be going to diffuse faster. So with the lower temperature, it goes wrong. Which gas diffuses fastest at the same pressure? Yes, because if we look at oxygen, oxygen's MR is 32. And if we look at nitrogen, its MR is 28. So obviously higher temperature and the lower way makes it fastest, right? So D goes wrong and B is the correct answer. Okay. Now question number 5. Because oxygen has a heavier MR, so it's not going to, diffuse faster, Khatija. It is going to diffuse slower than nitrogen. So nitrogen is going to be diffused fastest. Now, question number 5. The diagram shows the outer shell electrons of the atoms of two elements Q and R. Okay. Q has a 2 electrons in the valence shell and R has a, so it means Q is from group 2, and if you see R is from group 7. The sulfate of Q is insoluble. Okay. Element R is gaseous at room temperature and pressure. So if it's gas at room temperature or pressure, then it can be chlorine or fluorine, because bromine is liquid at room temperature. And Q is sulfate of Q is insoluble, so it's usually group 2. Yeah, that's what we have already decided. Group 2 sulfates are usually insoluble. Which rock could be the correct? Proton number of Q. So if we have to find in group 2, proton number of Q. So if its Q is from group 2, so it's 12, 20, 38. So 12, yeah. So 12 is from group 2. So A and B can be correct answers and C and D are going to be the wrong one. Okay, let me see. It's 56. Yeah, 56 is there as well. And remember, yeah, 1 minute. These two are going to be correct. These two are going to be wrong. Why? Because magnesium is at 12 and barium is 56. So when the magnesium sulfate is formed, it's soluble in water. It's not water insoluble, but barium sulfate is water insoluble. Okay, now. Okay, 1 minute. Let me reshare it. So that's why C and D, the correct answer is either C or D. A and B are wrong. Now, if it's 80, so it's bromine, and if it's 35.5, so it's chlorine, right? So bromine is liquid at room temperature, and they have told you that R is gaseous at room temperature. So due to this, C goes wrong. So we are left with option D. So D is the correct one. Is this clear to all of you? Okay. Now question number 6. Which statement about iodine atoms and iodide ions are correct? Okay. Iodine atom and iodide ion both are isotopes? No, not at all. They undergo same chemical reactions. Yes, it can be. They have the same number of protons. Yes, whether it's iodine atom or iodide, ions have the same number of protons. They have the same physical properties. No, they don't have the same physical properties because when it turns iodide, it shows colorless. Okay. Now we are stuck between B and C. And if I see B and C, both seems to be fine. No, but the thing is that when iodine reacts, you see, when it's an iodine atom, I think B is wrong. Because when you see iodine atom, it reacts, it gains electron and form iodide. So that is the reduction, right? And when iodide ions react, it turns into iodine and loses electrons, so it goes oxidation. So the chemical reactions are not same. Yeah. So B is wrong. And C is the correct answer. Okay. Is this clear to all of you? Yes, Mustafa, very good. Yes, Zainab, did you understand why B is wrong? Okay. Now question number 7. The element chlorine has two isotopes, chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. In the periodic table, the chlorine is shown as, okay, which row shows the correct percentage of each isotope in the sample naturally occurring in chlorine. So we know that chlorine 35 is 75%, right? So it means these three goes wrong. And if chlorine 35 is 75%, so chlorine 37 would be 25%. My screen is again stuck. So that's what I have told you, that you have to remember the isotopes abundances of chlorine 35 and chlorine 37, right? Now question number 8. What is the nucleon number of the isotope of uranium? Okay, so the nucleon number is the bigger one. So it's the nucleon number. So it's correct. So A, B, and D goes wrong, and C is the correct answer. Yes. Now question number 9. Silicon dioxide has a giant structure. Each silicon atom is joined to 4 oxygen atoms by covalent bonds. Part of the structure is shown. Which property would silicon oxide dioxide be expected to have? A good conductor of electricity? No, not at all, because silicon is in group 4, so it has a 4 electrons in the valence shell, so it does not conduct electricity because all 4 are involved in the bonding. It has a high melting point because it's a giant structure. Yes, that can be correct. Okay. Reacts with the hydrochloric acid? No, it's a non-metal oxide. Non-metal oxides are acidic. So it's not. C goes wrong. Soluble in water, giant. It's not soluble in water. So it goes wrong as well. Yes, very good, Khatija and Yusuf and Rahim. The correct answer is B. Okay. Now, question number 10. Element X and Y reacts to form compound XY. Okay. Element Y has a 2 more electron in its outer shell than element X. Compound XY conducts electricity in the molten state. Okay. So it states that it's an ionic, right? Which rock correctly states the electron change that occur during the reaction and type of bonding in compound X and Y? And if it's an ionic, so C, these two are covalent, which makes B and C goes wrong. Is this understandable? Yes, very good, Khatija. Very good, Zana. Very good, Rahim. Yes, Yusuf, very good. So D goes wrong as well, because if it's ionic, so it's not sharing, it's the donation from one atom to another. So A is the correct answer. Now, question number 11. Which compound has the most single bonds in one molecule? Okay, so for over here, we have how many bonds? 7. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think 8. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So B is the correct one for 11, which makes A, C, and D goes wrong. So B is the correct answer. Is this clear to all of you? Now, question number 12. The formula of ammonium metavanadate. It contains ammonium ions and vanadate ions. Okay. What are the charges on these ions? So see, we remember the charge of ammonium, it's +1, and C with 1 NH4, there is a 1 VO3. So VO3 must have a -1 ion. That's why its formula becomes NH4 VO3. So A is the correct one. B, C, and D goes wrong. Now, question number 13. Which mass of oxygen gas combines exactly with 16 grams of sulfur to form SO2? Okay, if you look in SO2, there is sulfur. Sulfur's AR is 32 and oxygen is also 32. So with 32 grams has been attached. So if the sulfur is 16 grams, 16 gram has been attached. So answer is going to be C. A, B, and D goes wrong. So C is the correct answer. Okay. Now question number 14. The atomic number of ruthenium is 44. One of the oxide of ruthenium is black solid, X. 5.79 gram of X contains 1.39 gram of oxygen. Okay, so mass of ruthenium can be found by 5.79 minus 1.39. So if you subtracted 0, 4, 3. So that is the mass of ruthenium. So we got the mass of ruthenium and oxygen. It's 3.40 divided by 44 for the empirical formula and 1.39 divided by 16. Can anyone tell me the values quickly? Yes, can anyone calculate it quickly? I am asking for the values. 3.40 divided by 44. Can anyone tell me the value? It's 0.077. And what for oxygen? 0.08. No. 0.086. Okay. So the smaller is 0.07. So 0.077 and 0.077. Can anyone calculate the values? Over here, I am going to get one. What value I am getting over here? I doubt something is wrong. 1.39 divided by 16, 0.868, 3.40. See, yeah, there is a one mistake which I did, my bad. See, it's atomic number, not atomic mass. So that is you got correct. I have to find the atomic number from the atomic mass from the periodic table because they have given me the atomic number, not the atomic mass. Okay, ruthenium. Here it is. It's at AR is 101. See? So these kind of a mistake. We have to carefully read the question. I see overlooked the statement and I did the wrong thing. Now 3.40 divided by 101. So I'm getting 0.0336. So it is smaller. So 0.0336 and 0.0336. So over here, I'm going to get one. Okay, 0.0868 divided by 0.0336. 1.39 divided by 16. 868. 3.40 divided by 101. Okay. So here I'm getting 2.58 almost. So now if you see, if you make it into a whole number with the 2, so what you are going to do, 2 is to 5, right? So either you are getting RU2O5 or otherwise with this you will get only RuO2, right? So this is the correct answer. A, B, and D goes wrong, and C is the correct answer. Okay. And why we didn't consider this one? Because there is no such formula over there. Now, question number 15. 250 centimeter cube of 1 mole per dm cube hydrochloric acid reacts with an excess of solid sodium carbonate. The first simplest whole number with which we get the whole number, that's how we multiply it. The first possible smallest whole number with which we get, a whole number. Okay. So you got the concentration, you got the volume with an excess of solid sodium carbonate. What is the volume of carbon dioxide produced when measured at room temperature and pressure? So it's very easy. See the ratio 2 is to 1, right? So the ratio of hydrochloric acid with CO2 is 2 is to 1. Now we have to find the moles of HCl. To find the moles of HCl, concentration times volume, and volume is 0.250. So the moles which I will get is 0.250. So 0.250 is to x, and if you calculate the value of x, you are going to get 0.125. So these are the moles. So 0.125 multiplied by 24. Can anyone tell me the answer? It's 1/4, 1/8. Is it A? Right, 3 centimeter cube. Thank you, Zainab. So correct answer is A. Now question number 16. When excess of aqueous barium chloride is added to 25 centimeter cube of 1 mole per dm cube sodium sulfate, a white precipitate of barium sulfate is formed, and here we got the equation. Okay. The precipitate is filtered off, washed, dried, and weighed. 5.36 gram of barium sulfate is obtained. What is the percentage yield of barium sulfate? So see, this is the practical value. Now we have to find the theoretical value. So for that, I have to calculate the moles of sodium sulfate. So if I calculate the moles, so its concentration is 1.00 times volume is 25 divided by 1000. So if you divide it by 1000, you will get 0.025 moles. And if you see the mole ratio of these two, the mole ratio is same. So it means the mass of barium sulfate is also, the moles of barium sulfate is also going to be the same. Now I have to find the mass of barium sulfate. So 0.025 times the mass of barium sulfate, which is MR of 233. Can anyone multiply this and tell me the mass? So that is going to be my theoretical value. Yes, can anyone tell me the value, please? It's 5.825, right? So 5.36 over 5.825 multiplied by 100. Can anyone tell me the percentage? I think it's 97 or 92. It's 92. Okay. So the correct answer. Now, question number 17. Aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed using inert electrode. Which statement is correct? Copper is collected at anode, not at all. Copper is a positive ion, so it always collected at cathode. Hydrogen is collected at cathode, no, because hydrogen will not collected at cathode because of copper, because copper is lower than hydrogen. Oxygen is collected at anode, yes, because it's a sulfate. Sulfur is no, not at all. So sulfate is never oxidized. And hydroxide, in case of a sulfate, hydroxide always oxidized to give you oxygen. So C is the correct answer for question number 17. Now question number 18. Concentrated aqueous sodium chloride is electrolyzed using inert electrode. Okay, so it's aqueous concentrated. So there is a sodium ion and a chloride ion, and there is a hydrogen ion and the hydroxide ion. As it's aqueous, so hydrogen forms H2, right? And as concentrated, chloride forms chlorine. So which equation shows the reaction at anode? So for anode, these two cannot be, and chloride oxidizes. So here it is undergoing reduction, and as it is undergoing reduction, so this goes wrong. And we are left with option A. So option A is the correct one. Okay. Now question number 19. Which pair of equations correctly represents the reaction taking place at anode and at cathode during the electrolysis of molten silver bromide? So if it's molten, so silver has a +1 ion, that is the important thing. So it goes wrong. And at cathode, cation are there, so it goes wrong. So A and D goes wrong, and B and C can be correct. Now, at anode bromide has a -1 charge, so it doesn't have two negative charge, so B goes wrong. So we are left with option C. So C is the correct answer. Yes, very good, Khatija. Now, question number 20. Which two processes are both endothermic? Combustion, exothermic, right? So wrong. Again, combustion, exothermic, wrong. Cracking, we need energy, right? And in photosynthesis, we need energy. So both are endo. Respiration, energy is released in respiration. So D goes wrong. So C is the correct answer. Very good, Khadija. Now, question number 21. A sample of a sulfuric acid is added to 10 gram of zinc granules. Okay. A reaction occurs and a gas is produced. So the gas is, we know, hydrogen gas. The rate of a reaction is increased if a small amount of copper is added. So it means copper is act as a catalyst over here. The copper is unchanged after the reaction. Yes, it assures that it's a catalyst, right? Which statement about this reaction is correct? So copper is a biological catalyst. No, it's not a biological catalyst. Biological catalysts are enzyme. Let me share my screen. It's stuck. check it's not being shared. Yeah. Let me share it again. So it can't be a biological catalyst, okay? Now, copper lowers the activation energy of this reaction. Yeah, that's what catalysts do. The rate of reaction is greater as the particle size of zinc is greater. No, if the particle size would increases, the rate of reaction gets slower. So C is wrong. The rate of reaction is greater if pressure is increased. There is no gas, so there would be no increase in pressure or increase. There would be no increase in rate on increasing the pressure. So C and D goes wrong as well, and B is the correct answer. Is this understandable to all of you? Now question number 22. Okay. The rate of a reaction between magnesium and dilute hydrochloric acid investigated. The equation is shown. Okay. The known mass of magnesium is added to an excess of hydrochloric acid. See, the hydrochloric acid is in excess. So if hydrochloric acid is in excess, it means some of the hydrochloric acid must left. Its concentration never goes to zero. So that makes A and B goes wrong. Is this understandable to all of you? The concentration of hydrochloric acid and volume the hydrogen gas produces measured at regular interval, which pair of graph correctly shows the experimental results. So see, this is correct. This is correct. The volume of gas formed, we know that the curve is like this for the collection of gas, not like this. So C goes wrong as well, and D is the correct answer. Now, question number 23. In which reaction is underlying substance is reduced? So see over here, it's +2 and it's +2. So no reduction. +2 to 0, yes, reduction. +3 to +4, no reduction. Here it's a oxidation. Here it stays same. And if you see 0 to +2, so here again it's oxidation, so no reduction. So the underlying substance which is reduced is copper to positive ion, so B is the correct answer. Okay. Now question number 24. Which change involves reduction? So calcium carbonate to calcium oxide, so it's +2 and it's +2. So it's not reduction. Copper to brass. So in brass, it's some mixture, so it remains copper. So it's again ethene to polyethene. No. Sand to silicon. So in sand, it's silicon dioxide, SiO2, and silicon is just silicon. So here its oxidation number is 0. Here its oxidation number is +2. So it's reduction. Yeah, B is the correct answer. Okay. Now question number 25. Thiosulfate ions react with iodine in aqueous solution. Here we got the equation. Dash electrons, and if you see iodine has 0 and -1, so it means and are gained. Okay. So it means iodine is being reduced, which means gain of electron. So if iodine is doing this, then sulfate is doing exactly opposite. So it means it is being oxidized and loss of electrons, right? So ions lose electrons. So A and B goes wrong. And when the loss of electron occur, it's oxidized. So D goes wrong. C is the correct answer. Question number 25C. Now question number 26. The equation shows a reaction in contact process. Here we got the equation. Which changes would move the position of equilibrium to the left? Okay. Adding more O2. If more O2 oxygen is over here, if we add it, it will shift to the right. So B goes wrong. Increasing the pressure shifts the equilibrium where lesser moles of gas. So product side has a lesser moles of gas and reactant side has a more moles of gas. So equilibrium shifts to the right again. Increasing the temperature increases, shifts the equilibrium towards endothermic side. And if you see the forward reaction is endo, the forward reaction is exo. and the backward reaction is endo. So yeah, if we increase the temperature, equilibrium shifts to the left because the backward reaction is endo. So C can be the answer, removing SO3 from the reaction mixture. So as we remove it, the concentration of SO3 would decrease. So equilibrium again shift towards right. So equilibrium shifts to the right with option D as well. So C is the correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 27. Some medicines contains magnesium salt of a fatty acid. Fatty acids are the member of a homologous series of carboxylic acids and contain one carboxylic acid group. Okay. What is carboxylic acid functional group? So we know this is the carboxylic functional group. So C and D goes wrong. And how many moles of fatty acid required 1 mole of magnesium? So if you see, magnesium got 2 positive charge, and with carboxylic acid, it releases only 1. So when they two join, it is going to be like this. So it means 2 moles of fatty acids are needed with the 1 mole of magnesium. So A goes wrong and B is our correct answer. Yeah, is this clear to all of you? Okay. Now question number 28. Oof. Sodium sulfate and sodium hydrogen sulfate can both prepared using aqueous sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Okay. 50 centimeter cube of 1 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide is used each time. Which rock shows the correct volume of 1 mole of per dm cube sulfuric acid required to prepare a sample of sodium sulfate and a sample of sodium hydrogen sulfate? Okay. So let's find the moles of sodium hydroxide. If I find the moles of sodium hydroxide, it is going to be 1 times 50 over 1000. So I'm going to get 0.05 moles. Now, okay, with to form hydrogen sulfate, we need the mole ratio is 1:1. So it means same moles of sulfuric acid would be needed. And if same moles of sulfuric acid would be needed, then it's, yeah, same moles of sulfuric acid would be needed. And if the moles are same, then volume must be, we need would be the same. So it means that this is the correct one, right? So only 50 is with one option and rest of them are wrong. So B, C, and D goes wrong and A is correct one. And if you see, for sodium hydroxide, 2 moles, we need 1 mole. So obviously if the concentration are same, so if we are using 50 centimeter cube of this one, so to get the half moles of this, we need a half of its volume. So that's why 25. For NaOH and H2SO4 to form sodium sulfate. Is this clear to all of you? I think my screen is again stuck. Because the ratio is 2:1, that's why. It is because if you see the mole ratio is 2:1. So if you are using the same concentration, so if you take the same volume, then they must have a same moles. But for sulfuric acid, we need the half number of moles. So obviously the volume would be half, then we will get the same half number of moles for sulfuric acid. Now question number 29. Which substance reacts with dilute sulfuric acid in the preparation of a pure sample of lead 2 sulfate? Okay, it's an insoluble salt. So we need a soluble salt initially. So aqueous lead 2 nitrate can be answered with lead foil, lead carbonate, and lead oxide. It cannot be done. So option A is the correct answer. Is this clear to all of you? Okay, Zainab. Now, question number 30. Which statement about sulfuric acid is correct? In a manufacture of sulfuric acid, iron is used as a catalyst in the contact process. No, we need V2O5. Sulfuric acid is used in some batteries. Yeah. Sulfuric acid is used as a fertilizer. No, it is used to make fertilizer. So C goes wrong. Sulfuric acid is used as a food preservative. No, it's wrong again. SO2 gas is used as a food preservative. So B is the correct answer. Now is it visible? Question number 31. Two statements are given. Going down group 1 and group 7, the melting point of the elements increases. No, with group 1, the melting point of elements decreases. For group 1, for group 7, it's increases, but not for group 1. Chlorine can displace iodine from its from aqueous potassium iodide, but cannot displace bromine from. No, the first one is correct, but the second one is wrong. It can also displace from bromine from potassium bromide as well, because chlorine is above bromine and iodine. So which statement are correct? Neither statement 1 nor statement 2. So A, B, and C are wrong, and D is the correct option. Now question number 32. A reversible reaction involves a solid reacting with the hydrogen. Which of the metal, aluminum, and iron would catalyze the reaction? What is their effect on the position of equilibrium? A reversible reaction involves a solid reacting with the hydrogen. Okay. So the thing is that aluminum is not a transition element, so it's not usually used as an catalyst, so it's iron only. And catalyst would not shift the position of the equilibrium, so C goes wrong, that's why. So the D is the correct answer. No, C cannot be an answer because catalyst would increase the rate, but it would not shift the position of the equilibrium. It does not affect the position of equilibrium, okay? Now question number 33. Iron is obtained in the blast furnace from the ore hematite. Which statement is correct? Calcium carbonate is used to remove acidic impurities. Yeah, because it decomposes to form calcium oxide, and which removes the impurities. Coke is reduced to carbon dioxide. No, it's not reduction, it's oxidation. So this word is wrong. That's why B is wrong. Hematite is oxidized by carbon monoxide. No, again, this word is wrong. Hematite ore is reduced. Hematite undergoes thermal decomposition. Not at all. Calcium carbonate decomposes thermal decomposition. So D goes wrong as well. So we are left with option A. So the A is the correct one. Now, question number 34. Three statements about carbon cycle are given. The carbon cycle regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Yes. During the photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is produced. No, not at all. So 2, 2, and 2. So all 3 goes wrong because carbon dioxide is being used to form glucose and oxygen, right? So B is the correct answer. Now, question number 35, carbon is used in purification of water supply. What is the reason for this? So it always used to remove taste and odors. So that's why A, B, and D goes wrong. C is the correct answer. Now, question number 36. Octane is an alkane with the 8 carbon atoms per molecule. What is the molecular formula of octane? So we know the general formula CnH2n plus 2. So if it's 8, so 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 plus 2 is 18. So C8H18, right? So A and B goes wrong. And how does its boiling point compare with that of butane? So butane has C4. So it is going to be higher, obviously, greater, more number of a carbon chain, higher the boiling point. That is the trend that we discussed. So D is the correct answer. Now, question number 37. which equation for the reaction between propane and chlorine is correct? So when propane and chlorine reacts, it's a substitution reaction. So one chlorine displaces one hydrogen, and the hydrogen that is formed reacts with chlorine, the other chlorine, to form HCl. So HCl is being produced over here. So A, B, and C, that's why it goes wrong. And D is the correct answer, because with the alkane and the alchlorine substitution occur, one chlorine gets bonded to the alkane, the hydrocarbon, and the hydrogen which comes out from it bonds with the other chlorine to form HCl. Now question number 38. Propanoic acid reacts with the calcium carbonate. Okay. The products of this reaction are calcium propionate, carbon dioxide, and water. What is the example for this reaction? Okay, first thing, calcium carbonate's formulas are wrong. So A and B goes wrong. Okay. Here 3 and 4. So it's a butanoic acid, which makes D goes wrong. So B is the correct answer. It's C4, C3H7, COOH. So it's C4, right? So C4 is butanoic acid. So D is the butanoic acid, not propanoic acid. In B, there is a propanoic acid because C2H5, COOH. Is this understandable? Now question number 39. The monomer can be used to make an addition polymer. This addition polymer has a chain of carbon atoms joined to each other by carbon-carbon single bonds. Each of these carbon atom is also bonded to at least one other atom or a group of atom. These are called side groups. Okay. Which statement describes the carbon atoms in the polymer chain made from this? Every carbon atom in the carbon chain has one CH3 and one hydrogen atom as a side group. Okay, let's see. If I rearrange it, it is going to be like this. If you look at the carbon on the left of the double bond has a hydrogen and CH3, and the carbon on the right of the double bond also has a hydrogen and CH3. So this statement seems correct, right? The statement A. Each carbon atom in the chain is joined to CH3 side group. No, side group is just CH3, not CH3. So this is wrong. Every carbon atom in the chain is joined with two CH3 groups. No, every carbon is joined with one CH3 group and one H group. So C goes wrong. Every carbon atom in the chain is joined with hydrogen atoms only. No, not at all. Every carbon is joined to, we are seeing one hydrogen and a one CH3. So A is the correct answer. Is this understandable to all of you? Now, question number 40. Which rock correctly shows the structure of a polymer and a monomer from which it is made? If you see, one side is C double bond O and the other side is N, and here both side has C double bond O. So with respect to monomer, polymer is wrong. Okay. Only two carbons. This also always goes to the side chain. So that's why this goes wrong. Yeah, this seems correct. No. See, this oxygen would not be there in the amide link. So this goes wrong. Because C double bond is bonded to NH, not ONH, right? So D is the correct answer. So here we are done with the paper. And now we are going to start new paper in our next class, which will be on Monday. Okay. So see you everyone on Monday. Till then, take care. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.